Sean says that he's up before the alarm and can't remember the last time he hit snooze. Good on you, Sean. Maybe you can use that same analogy when it comes to cigarettes.
Yeah.
Could be a thought.
Look, I would go
You
back
succeeded in that. Maybe you can succeed in other things.
Well, not maybe. It's definitely. If all of us, and I used it with a client this
where
week.
Where have we
actually.
had success?
Yeah, 100%. There's a number of ways that you overcome fear, but one of them is that you draw on previous experiences that you've been able to accomplish. We've all had to do something for the first time once. That is, the first time you buy, like I just talked about my first time in signing a property development project. That wasn't the first time we'd bought a property. We'd bought buy and hold properties before. But that was my first time in buying a development site. When I had my ice cream store, that was the first time I bought a business.
So There's just an extra couple of zeros, but that's where the fear of financial or how much you invest does come into it. Sean says that we like the idea of there's a reason the front window of the car is large and the rear view mirror is small.
So look out the front window. So
absolutely.
Stop
Rob Kelly, good to have you on as well.
Yeah, correct. And a lot of people, when they look in the rear view, they will see a trailer load full of crap. Right, and so it's about freeing up that firstly, and it's about looking in a forwards direction towards where you want to go. It's always about thoughts become things, and when you train yourself to have your thoughts in a forward-facing direction, now all of a sudden you start to accomplish the things that you set out. You go, oh my gosh.
Well, that segues beautifully into our third point, which is where is our focus? Are we focused on the problem or the solution? Tony talks about this a lot. Are we focused on the current or the future?
Well, it's the future. It's always about. Well, there's two things actually. You want to have a forward-facing direction, but then you want to focus on the thing that I'm doing right now that takes me there. So you just talked about you've run for the last 1,030 days or whatever it is, but you've been running your whole life, right? So, but you've run in succession for the last 1,030. But you talked about I'm doing this run, but I'm focusing on this step. I'm focusing on the form, and I'm focusing on my legs and my efficiency so you're focusing on that particular moment, even though you're facing in a forward direction. So it's about having a big goal for yourself, but then recognising that in order to get to that goal, I have to do this thing right now incredibly well. So we talk about running, but it could be the next phone call that you make the next prospecting call, for example. It could be the way in which you serve a customer. You serve that customer like it's the only customer that you've got. And so it's all of those types of things. It's about, and I learned this, way back when I used to work in McDonald's. Regardless of what's going on in your world, or you used to get all sorts of people complain about, hairs in burgers and all that sort of rubbish and whatever. Doesn't matter what's happened, because this particular customer has come in, they want to hand over money for a burger, and you treat that customer like it's the only customer you've got in the whole world.
Well, actually, I put a bit of a story around McDonald's the other day.
Oh, did you?
Well, yeah, actually yesterday. Well, I came on this morning as well, but saying McDonald's is more of a property play
100%.
than a burger play. And the burgers provide the cash flow, but it's the property that sees the increase in wealth creation for McDonald's.
Well, that's for McDonald's, but then you've got franchisees who make money through the stuff that happens inside the four walls. Yeah, so McDonald's, the corporation, makes money through real estate, but McDonald's, the individual franchisees, make money through great customer service, great quality, having the food look like the picture, all those types of things. And I spent. I met my wife in McDonald's, so that's where we first met a long time ago. Spent 4.5 years in McDonald's, so I understand it intimately, the whole system, and wonderful organisation. Say what you will about the food, but wonderful.
Got a few comments around that yesterday. Ken says Ken's Cones has been contracted 3 times to serve up free ice cream at property auctions. Each property sold, 100% hit rate so far. Good on you, Ken. The moral is, if you want a property sold at auction, hire Ken's Cones and give ice creams away, which puts buyers in a happy mindset. And and you are the shoe in the cell.
So I love it, and you know what? The evidence is there. The proof is in the pudding.
G'day, David.
The proof is in the ice cream, so to speak. That is, you've got 3 for 3. So good on you, Ken. And yes, if you're wanting to sell, then engage Ken's Cones. There you go. Different marketing.
Okay,
strategy.
so what's the overall picture of final thoughts in terms of fear that we have, or overcoming your fears? How are we going for time?
We're good. We're
good.
good.
Decent.
We're doing good. So there's so many thoughts around fears. The first one is that, so I can go through the process for people if you want. So the process is firstly, understand what is the fear that you've got. Right, so get clear on what is the fear. I believe that the biggest fear that everyone has is the fear of being criticised by other people, the fear of judgment. All roads lead to that. So you think about when someone says, "Hey, I have a fear of failure. I don't want this thing to fall over. I don't want to lose my money, etc., etc." Yep, I get it. But then it's the next bit beyond that is, well, hey, when it falls over, everyone's going to be going, "I told you so. You know, you shouldn't have done that. You should have stayed comfortable." So it's the fear of being criticised or being judged by other people. That's the single biggest fear. So the first thing is to establish what is that fear. The second thing is to think about, where did it come from? So you talked before about your fear of meeting new people for the first time. Once you've met them a couple of times, you're into that conversation, asking great questions, but it's that initial hesitation. So where has it come from? The third thing is to recognise, and we've talked about this today, that it's BS. Fear is BS. We've made it up. Only born with two fears: falling, loud noises. That's it. Everything else, you've made it up. For me, fear of heights, made it up. Right. So everyone's made up the fear. So recognise that it's BS. Now, how do we overcome this? So the first thing we've got to do is we've got to form an empowering belief that's the opposite. So if we have a fear, let's use you as an example. If you have a fear of meeting new people, the opposite of fear of meeting new people is loving to meet new people. So love is the opposite of fear, right? So then your story is, I love meeting new people, and I love meeting new people because I love the conversations, I love where it could go, I'm excited by the possibility, whatever it might be. These are stories and opportunities for you to tell yourself. The next thing that we can do is to start to act as if. So it's all around identity. So it's a little bit of fake it till you make it, but start to act as if. So you go into a network meeting and you act confidently when you approach people. Now, this is going to take some practice to do, but you consciously say, when I meet this person, I'm going to, whatever the process might be, I'm going to ask great questions, I'm going to listen, whatever it is. But you start to act as if, and it's all around the identity. I see myself as a confident person meeting...
kind of visualisation around that.
Absolutely, right, absolutely. So it's about...
I love the free coaching session that I'm getting here.
Yeah, so it's the identity side of things. The third way is to create evidence of success. And so evidence of success comes in two forms. So the first form is to start small. Meet one person. Go to a network meeting, meet one person, then reflect on it and go, that wasn't that bad after all. And how often does that happen? You know, we've got this thing in front of us, we've not done it before, or maybe haven't done it for a while, and we've got all this anxiety going on around this thing, and then we do the thing, and we come out the other side and we go, oh gosh, what was I worried about? Right, so that's the first thing. So start small. So when you start small, and we talk about it here, the power of one. You know, wherever you're at, do one more. Do one push-up, do one sit-up, do one phone call, do 100 metres, whatever it might be, the power of one. You start to now build some momentum by doing that. The other way is then through creating evidence of success. So let me use my example. So I lost a heap of weight back in 2015. I probably should dig up the diet notes, to be honest, but nonetheless, I lost a heap of weight in 2015, was able to achieve a loss of 12 kilos in 12 weeks, which is phenomenal. And so for me, the belief that I got, like my physical change was astronomical, but the mental change was just off the charts. The belief that I had by doing that 12 kilo in 12 weeks, I then took over to property development, and I said to myself, if I can do that thing, then I can do this thing over here. Weight loss and property development have zero in common. But in my mind, I linked the two, so I created evidence of success. And so for all of us, we've all had success at something in our life. It might have been in a running race, or meeting a boy or girl, or public speaking, or an exam, or whatever it is. Find something you've had success in, and think about, what did I do at that point in time? Why was I successful at that point in time? What was the thing? What was the pattern? What was the story? What was driving me to be successful? Now I'm going to pick that up and place it over on this new thing. So Sean, for you talk about smoking. You've had success in other areas of your life. What's the area that you were successful in? What were you thinking? What were you doing? What were you saying to yourself? And it's about the patterns. And so this is the whole NLP side of things. The P in neuro-linguistic programming is around the patterns in your mind. So you identify what were the things that I was doing. Sorry, mate, you were trying to dive in about 5 minutes ago, and I've been on a rant.
No, you're going well. What I would say is they have very, weight loss and property or property development have very similar things in it, because I think, you say, well, I tend to say 80% of what we do is around mindset. So that's the similarities, right? The actual product or service, whatever it might be, is different, but the way we approach it, that idea of success is the same. Like, if we're going to be successful in one area, chances are we can be successful in another,
100%.
is what you're saying.
Exactly what I'm saying. That's precisely what I'm saying. And so then...
I just take 3 words.
No, I take an hour.
Yeah.
So then it's not a capability issue, because you've done it before. You mightn't have done it in that thing, but you've had success before. So I want you today to recognise that if you're striving to do something and you haven't got there, you've had success in other areas of your life, whatever it might be. What were you thinking? What were you doing? What was the process? Why were you successful at that thing? Get the mindset of that, pick that up, and now plonk that on top of, plonk is a technical term, plonk that on top of this new thing that you're wanting to do for yourself. Because
So plonk it, don't be a plonker.
Exactly, there you go, right? Terrific. I look forward to seeing that post. So that's the idea. We've all had success in stuff. But yeah, and here's the thing. That's all about focusing on what I want. The thing with fear, people are always focusing in the wrong direction. I'm worried if this falls over. I have doubts. I'm fearful.
Well, what it is, Tony, it's like you've been successful in one area, you're converting it into something new, then you're going through that whole experience again, and not maybe wanting the change, not maybe wanting the challenge or the extra stress that it puts onto you when you're doing something new. You get up, you fall down. It's the same way as with kids walking. Get up, fall down. And then they get into trying to ride the bike. They get up, fall down, get up, fall down. So it's time and time again throughout life that we're going to see new things. We're always going to have new things. There's new technologies come out. We're going to have to use those skills, the mindset skills that we've had in the past, to be better at the new thing that comes up. There's always going to be new things. Get it? There's always going to be new fears that you have. I know as the downsizing, the age bracket that's coming through, they're not tending to want to use too much technology. But they've always got to know that even when they get into their 60s and 70s and 80s and 90s, there's still going to be new technology around. So the idea for you is to just take that on board, take your past successes on board to use that new technology or the new changes in environments, in culture, in the economy, and all those things.
Why they not want to use the technology? What's the reason behind that? Because here's the thing, what they'll say is, well, I couldn't possibly use that technology, it's too difficult. And here's the thing, if they stopped and thought about it, their whole life they've learnt new things. Could they always drive a vehicle? No, they couldn't, but they worked that out. Does that make sense? They might have been a particular job they were doing. Could they always do that job? No, they couldn't, but they worked that thing out. So it's just a mindset. It's a mindset of, they say, I couldn't possibly figure out this technology stuff. It bamboozles me. Well, did you always do the things that you did in your life instantaneously well from day one? No, you didn't. But we
I just want to pick it up.
We don't think about those.
There's probably a lack of patience around that for
Could be.
We've had Clayton come on, Craig come on as well. Good to have you on. Sean said, thanks, Tony. Food for thought today. Thank you. Congratulations, Tony, on your great effort. I think that was around the 12 kilos dropped in 12 weeks.
Thank you.
Ken says success can be simply perseverance. Mindset, yes, absolutely. And Sean says, thanks, guys.
Well, it is perseverance, and so it's 100% perseverance. I have an acronym which is CAPE, C-A-P-E, which is consistent and persistent effort, and that's what it is. It's about doing the right things, but doing them consistently. Statistics say, and I'll talk about sales here, statistics say that transactions happen in a business, 80% of sales happens on or after the fifth point of contact. So that yet how many times do we call someone up once, maybe twice, maybe 3 times, and we give up. And we go, oh no, it's not going to happen. They're not going to transact with me. They're not answering their phone, whatever it might be, right? And again, take this same example into your life. You've got to persist with these things, but the statistics say that 80% happens on or after the 5th contact. Here's the kicker. Only 8% of businesses actually get that far. So if you're in business, right, or you have some sort of business that you've got to do as a job, you might be a business owner, you've got to get to the 5th. And I say to my clients all the time, at least get to 5, because that's where the magic happens, and only 8% of businesses actually can be bothered pushing through. So Kate, consistent and persistent effort.
And that's where you basically, as a coach, will start to help your clients in terms of looking at those 5 touch points that you've had, and then continuing on that in future.
Well,
like, there's some simple stuff. Obviously, social media that we're doing now, databases that we're doing, obviously calls, and you'll have a whole host of other things.
Well, but it's a very, very simple job. My job in that part is very simple, because it's like, oh, Tony, this thing doesn't work. Okay, how many times did you try? 3. Guess what? You got 2 more to go. You got two more to go. Right, so it's very simple stuff. That particular side, it's like, just keep going. And the same with, I've just spent the last couple of years teaching people alongside of Rob in property development program, and people go, Tony, I can't find a deal. And I said, well, we talk about, what did you do? How many times did you do that? I did that once. Guess what? Keep going.
0.
Keep going. Be persistent. Be consistent. That's how you get.
And
success.
Sean says everything is figure-outable, and absolutely.
Well, Sean, use that with your cigarettes then. So if everything is figure-outable, use that with your cigarettes.
And we're all going back, aren't we?
Use that with your cigarettes. So we look forward to you figuring out what is the solution for yourself. There you go. Thanks for bringing that up. Bang, back at you. There's a volley up at the net.
Yeah, maybe something he can post or be accountable through his post on social media, Sean. That's putting it out there.
Well,
and you know what? A big one for me when I was starting to run, and this is like into the first couple of weeks, I started telling more people about it. I started posting on social media. That made me accountable. So maybe you can try that thing. All right, guys, we're going to wrap up the Sunday Mindset session this morning. It's been a really good one. Think about overcoming your fears. If you've got some fears, post it on here. And, allow the community to then reach out and talk through that, whether it be Tony or myself or other people that are interacting on this.
Fantastic. Thank you, mate. I love this topic, because this is the big one. This is what stops people from achieving. So you work your way through this, and you can have whatever it is that you want in your business or your life.
That's
Bye
right.
for now. Thank you.
Bye. See ya. Cheers, says Kamal. Bye.